Hi, I'm Mormons Anonymous, and thank you for tuning into the broadcast today. This actually is my first time, and so I'm hoping that it won't take too long to get comfortable behind the camera. But today I'm going to talk about a book that I finished reading this week. It's called His Needs, Her Needs by Willard Harley Jr. Now, Mr. Harley is a marriage counselor who's been counseling for many years, and he shares his secrets to happy marriage. The first concept that he uses throughout the book is the concept of the love money bank. When good things happen to you from your spouse, deposits are made into your love bank. When bad things happen from your spouse, deposits are withdrawn from your love bank, and vice versa. You do good things to your spouse, you build up deposits in her love bank. This book focuses on 10 needs. I'll go ahead and show them to you real quick. I'm going to go over each of these needs individually. The interesting thing about this list of needs is that quite typically the top 5 needs of a man are the bottom 5 needs of a woman, and vice versa. The top 5 needs of a woman are the bottom 5 needs of a man. The first need, affection. This is a female need. Most women like to be held, touched, caressed, kissed. They like to have their hand held. When you come home from work, they want you to come up and kiss them and hold them and hug them and make them feel good about themselves. Whereas for men, their number one need is typically sexual fulfillment. The author actually talks about their sexual fulfillment of many men as being almost important as the air that they breathe or the water that they drink. They need it in order to make them happy. And this actually oftentimes causes a conflict between the woman because men need to learn how to show affection if they want to get sex. The next one, conversation. Women like to talk. They like to be talked to. It makes them feel important when you talk to them. And when you're courting and dating, you quite typically will have spent about 15 hours a week in talking to the person that you are trying to impress, to get them to like you, to become their wife, because you're trying to get to know about them. Now, quite often, after marriage happens, the men stop talking, and the women really miss that. They really want to keep talking because it makes them feel important. And so the author actually recommends that men should set aside 15 hours a week in talking to their wife about various things just to make their wife feel important. Sounds like a lot, but it's necessary. Recreational companionship, that's a male need. Men like to go out and do things, and they like to have their wife go out and do it with them. The problem that comes up quite often is that the things that the man wants to do and the things that the woman wants to do are different. So some people will say, well, they should just do things separately. Well, the author completely disagrees with that concept. He says that what the men and the women should do is they should sit down and talk about what it is that each likes to do and find a middle ground. Find things that both like to do. And instead of focusing your time on doing the things that you like to do, you should spend time doing things that the both of you like to do. Honesty and openness. He gives an example of a person who dated a man that always kept the little piece of privacy. And then after they got married, the privacy still stayed in place, and it was very, very tough on the woman. Openness and honesty are very critical. You need to keep your wife informed, or a man needs to keep the wife informed. Call her once or twice a day from work. Let her know what's going on, where you're at. It just makes her feel good that you always let her know what you're doing. Honesty. People lie for various reasons. Sometimes people lie to protect the other person. Sometimes they lie to protect themselves. Honesty, dishonesty has no place in a marriage. Commonly, you may think of something as simple as the woman goes and gets her hair done and the man doesn't like it. But he doesn't tell her that he doesn't like it. He says, oh yes, it looks great, honey. It's wonderful. And then the next month the woman goes and gets the hair done the same way. Well, this time the man's kind of irritated because he doesn't really like it. And the woman now becomes irritated because, well, why didn't you tell me you didn't like it? An attractive spouse. To many men, it is absolutely critical that it's so important for them that their spouse looks good. And so it's important that the woman take care of herself. Try to not get keep your weight down. Do your hair up nice. Use the makeup, like make your face look pretty, and dress nice. It's irritating for many men when they come home and the wife has completely let her hair down. She's wearing clothes that don't look presentable, that don't look good. It withdraws money from his love bank account. So it's important to the man to have the woman to keep herself looking pretty. Financial support. Now the woman, it's very important for them to feel that their husband is taking care of the family financially. Now what if the husband is not making enough? The author actually recommends that the answer is not that the woman needs to go out and get a job. The answer is that the man needs to find a way to improve his income. And the best way to do that is to get the skills needed to do that. And so sometimes the family may need to sacrifice for a period of time so that the man can go back to school and gain the skills that he needs to properly support his family. Domestic support. Men don't like to come home to a home of utter chaos. They want things, they want to come home and find the home in somewhat order. Now that doesn't mean that all of the taking care of the home needs to be done by the woman. It doesn't mean that at all. In fact, actually it's recommended that in order to keep order in the home, that the husband and the wife do split up many of the chores. And if there is problems with domestic support right now of chaos in the home, it's very important that the husband and wife sit down and talk about the various chores. List the different chores that need to be done on a daily basis or on a weekly basis and divvy them out. The ones that the woman feels are the most important should be the jobs that she does. The jobs that the man feels are most important, he should do those. And then those in the middle, they should be kind of worked out so that both work together to get the important tasks done to keep the home in order. Family commitment. This is predominantly a female need. They want the husband to be participants in raising the children. Read stories to the children at night. Help them to get their baths done. To help them to get homework done if it's needed, if it's not done earlier. But not be a bystander of raising the children, but actually be a participant of raising the children. Admiration, predominantly a male need. It's kind of funny that men are so insecure with themselves that they need their wife to be their biggest cheerleader, to tell them how wonderful they are and how much the wife really appreciates the good things and the good qualities of her spouse, of her husband. Lastly, there's just a few other topics that the author talks about on saving your marriage. For example, an affair. Is having an affair an automatic for dumping your spouse? The answer is no. He actually likes to point out that the reason that affairs take place is because various needs are not being met. And therefore, what needs to happen is both the husband and the wife need to work together to make certain that all of the needs of their spouse are being properly met. Why is it so that you're not supposed to just dump your spouse if an affair takes place? The reason predominantly is because the children are affected. You have children together, and your children are going to be adversely affected when you divorce. And if you try to rationalize the way out of that to say that it's not really affecting them that much, you're joking with yourself. It's not real. They are very affected in a divorce. Work it out. Another interesting thing that he says is people who end their marriages without properly going through marriage counseling and doing everything they can to save their marriage end up feeling guilty, extremely guilty for the rest of their life. And the last thing I'd like to point out is that just getting a new spouse does not fix the problem. If you don't fix the problems, the base problems that caused your original divorce, you'll probably end up in the same position later. So that's it. Those are the basic teachings from Willard Harley's book, His Need, Her Needs. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.